Listeners and hosts of any program on WURD Radio do not necessarily reflect those of ownership, management, or advertisers of this station. Save space. Community. Conversation. Connection. Save space. With your host, Sincerely Sarita. Right now on WURD Radio. 96.1 FM and 900 AM WURD. Independent Black Media.
On nights like this I ride, turn the music up to keep from crying. Wait till that sunshine. Please don't let the darkness keep me low. Halfway to the home base, yeah. Like a field trip, whoa. It's a real trip. And over your head, it's a guilt trip, yeah. To the south side, wow. It's a real trip. It's not a quick trip. It stays with ya. Love taxes, it's a real trip. On nights like this I ride, turn the music up to keep from crying. Wait till that sunshine. Please don't let the darkness keep me low. Halfway to the home base, yeah. Like a field trip, whoa. It's a real trip. I'm asking who can save me? You can't, baby. You can't, baby. Who can save me? Know that you can't, baby. You could.
Hello, loves. You are tuned in to WURD Radio, the home of Black Talk Media, most certainly Black Talk Radio. This is Save Space, and I'm your host, Sincerely Sarita. Today is Monday, March 1st, 2021, a perfect day to turn our intentions into action through conversation. Shout out to all the folks who are ready to do just that. Those of you tuned in over on 96.1 FM and 900 AM, streaming WURD TV on WURDradio.com, Facebook Live, YouTube, and Twitch. And of course, everyone who's listening in crystal clear on the free WURD app, which is available in the Apple app and Google Play Store. So go ahead and download that. If you are tuned in on WURD TV via Facebook Live, tap the share button, start a watch party. Y'all know we don't just save space. We're here to take it up and own some too, especially in these internet streets. So help us spread the word. Happy Women's History Month, y'all. So the National Women's History Alliance always declares like this annual theme. And this year's theme is Valiant Women of the Vote, Refusing to be Silenced. And that theme brings to mind women, civil rights activists and trailblazers like Ida B. Wells, Ella Baker, and Shirley Chisholm. But it also makes me think of women like, of course, Nobel Peace Prize nominee Stacey Abrams, or Philly's own Jasmine Sessoms of She Can Win, and Representative Joanna McClinton, who in 2018 became the first African-American and woman to be elected as the House Democratic Caucus chair, and just last year made history again when she was elected as House Minority Leader. So she is the only Black woman to ever hold a party leadership position in Harrisburg. So let me just say, okay, Black women doing the darn thing and refusing to have voices and votes silenced. That's what this month, at least as far as the theme is concerned, is dedicated to. So speaking of Black women doing the darn thing, though, shout out to my girl Kayla J holding down the phone lines, the board, and everything in between. Kayla J, happy Monday, happy March 1st, happy Women's History Month.
Happy March. Ow.
For those who don't know, Kayla J, please let them know where all of this energy and excitement is coming from.
Because I'm going to be 28 on the 28th.
Okay. I have quite a bit of Aries in my life, okay? One of my best friends, Serena, her birthday is today. Happy birthday to you, boo. My mom's birthday is on the 26th. My sister's birthday is on the 29th. And then here you are on the 28th.
That's right. 28 on the 28th. Y'all don't follow me. I've been giving fun facts, a fun fact each day about my life.
Well, you got to give us one for today.
Well, I already posted it. My one for today is I wanted to be a gymnast.
You was out here trying to flip in these streets.
Yeah, I wanted to be a gymnast. When I was growing up, Dominique Dawes was a really big famous gymnast. She was African American, and I wanted to be just like her.
Honey, she was bad.
Unfortunately, there were no gyms here in Philly, so that dream was very short-lived.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah, there were no gyms here in Philly when I was a kid. So I believe there's one now out in the Northeast. But
Okay.
my mom searched high and low because that was my dream, to be a gymnast. I used to flip across all the streets, walk on the curb like it was a balance beam and everything.
Oh, you was about that life.
I was about that life. I used to stand on the back of her sofa and.
Oh no!
Yeah.
See, that's the life that as a mom you will not. You better sit down somewhere.
Yeah.
But shout out to your mom, though. Embarking on that search to at least help get you a little closer to that dream.
Yeah. So I'm
Moms are
excited.
dope.
It's March, best month in the world.
So how was your weekend then? I mean, leading up to this most amazing month that I'm sure it will be. Would you get into this weekend?
Listen, this weekend on Saturday, I have the show Saturday mornings, Kayla J's Gospel Hour. I actually celebrated 3 months of being on air on Saturday.
Pew, 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 pew. I feel like we need like sound effects to celebrate. How's it feel 3 months in?
Man, listen, it feels great. I honestly didn't know if I would make it to 3 months. I'm being honest. And it feels great to know that people are listening, people are staying up. I get phone calls, I get texts and DMs about how the show's blessing them. I get, I'm really, really, got all the warm and fuzzies about it,
As you should.
Yeah,
As you should.
just super excited about it.
You've been putting your heart and soul into it.
Yeah. And this month, I'm to go along with my birthday, I'm just having on all the great people. So Sarita will be on. Y'all listen for that.
I will be on. I will be on.
Yeah.
That you can believe. I'm gonna be talking my trash on Kayla J and all that, praising the Lord.
But I also broke down this weekend, and Sarita put me out on Front Street in my DMs, but it's okay.
I wasn't even going to say anything. I wasn't going to bring that up.
But I'll bring it up because you made me feel bad.
Tell the folks what you broke down and did.
I brought some boots, y'all, but they were but they were snow boots, right? And it's been snowing a lot, and I didn't have any, so I had been wearing my cute boots. And then in this last snowstorm, they got a scratch, and I was very angry. So
Gotcha.
I was like, I gotta buy some boots. And I brought some snow boots on Friday. They real cute. They got fur on the inside, y'all.
With the fur.
Yeah,
Well, we'll see where this goes, y'all. We'll see where this goes because this might be Pandora's box being open, and then from this point on, every week we're gonna be hearing Kayla J talk about something new that she bought. I can't even say nothing no because I definitely did some significant shopping this week.
See, mine was on sale.
I'm gonna tell y'all about it because I actually want to shout out this business that mother put me on to. But real quick, just I guess to recap my weekend a bit, it actually kicked off on Thursday for me. Thursday kicked off a slew of events and conversations that I have the honor and had the honor of hosting. Right, so Thursday we had the Black Women Green Future event. That was done in partnership with New Voices for Reproductive Justice and, WURD fam. And y'all, that event was so powerful and so unapologetically examined the role of Black women in our green future, right? Especially as it pertains to environmental justice. So if you did not get a chance to tune in for that event, head to WURD's Facebook page. If you go to videos, I believe it should still be up there, if I'm not mistaken. But you gotta watch it. I'll try to find a link so that I can drop it in the WURD TV live stream that we have popping now for folks who want to save that link and come back to it a little later. So that was Thursday. Then Friday was a celebration with the Philadelphia Citizen and the Accountability Lab for the Integrity Icon Philadelphia winners. And my goodness, listen, such an awesome conversation that was. Congratulations again to Dr. Ruth Abaya, Principal Richard Gordon, Thomas Quinn, a teacher at Central High, Carlos Aponte, who is a teacher at One Bright Ray High School, and Shaquita Smith of the Philadelphia School District. That conversation around integrity and leadership and just all these things tied to it was so on time for where we're headed as a city, but also as a nation. So I have to figure out how I can share that or get the live stream of it or the recording of it so that folks can check that out, because I need some folks, especially in our city, to watch that conversation on integrity. And then Saturday brought about the final screening of Black History Untold Love that was made possible by the African American Museum in Philadelphia, ARI, and the Linfest Institute for Journalism. So we watched this, oh, goodness, this moving documentary. I definitely shed some tears throughout it, and apparently the folks who were tuned in with us did as well. But we got to chat with Black History Untold creator Sophia Balin and two special folks who were featured in it, Fatine and Asia of Kindred, the Family Soul. So it was just such a good time, y'all. It's just like it was just being with the folks and talking about love and healing, and it most certainly was that. It was a space and an opportunity for healing to occur. So that was dope. Now, onto my little shopping situation, right? I got to support a few Black-owned businesses. So first and foremost, order some good food by way of the Black and Mobile food delivery app. So if you don't have that, you definitely should download that app. There are a bunch of Black-owned restaurants and all that good stuff there that you can find. But shout out to Black and Mobile, because this ain't good and y'all delivered it, and I love y'all for that. And then I also visited a Black woman-owned business. It's called Art and Soul Gallery and Boutique. It's located at 5912 Haverford Avenue. And got to shout out Mother Diva herself, Andrea Lawful Sanders, who hosts the Source, for putting me on to Tiffany and her boutique. Because listen, I saw Mama's live on Facebook, and she's showing the store and all this stuff, and I'm like, I need to make my way down there and let me see what all is going on here. Yeah, well, I did that, and we spent some coins. Okay, we spent coins. We closed out Black History Month supporting a Black-owned business with a bang. Folks left out with bags on bags and paintings too. I actually got 2 paintings out of there. So just much love to Tiffany. I'll actually be swinging back past the boutique this week to pick up one of the other items that I needed to get. But I was shopping too, Kayla J. So I'm not judging. Not side-eyeing you too strong, but we'll see. What else happened this weekend? There was the latest versus battle feature. It wasn't really a battle. It was just featuring D'Angelo and friends. And let me tell y'all, my girl, her, performed with him. Oh my gosh, it was so dope. I got my life on that one. He also brought out Redman and Method Man, DJ Scratch. It was just a complete vibe. Like there's no other way to put it. It made me actually want to revisit, actually like my cousin said, revisit D'Angelo's catalog. Like I just need to sit in it. I need to all that energy right now. So I'm definitely going to be doing that. And then what else? There was the Golden Globes. That went down this weekend. And listen, I know one thing. Andra Day, the artist who beautifully sang Rise Up, that song Rise Up. Well, honey, she did just that. Sis rose up and won a Golden Globe Best Actress Award for her portrayal as Billie Holiday in United States versus Billie Holiday. So congratulations to her, as well as who else won? Daniel Kaluuya for his role in Judas in The Black Messiah. And then, of course, continuing to honor Chadwick Boseman's legacy. He won in the category of Best Performance by an Actor in a Motion Drama Picture for his role in Ma Rainey's Black Bottom. So it was just definitely an active weekend, but there was so much Black excellence flowing all throughout it. It was just the perfect way to close out 28 days of celebrating and honoring our contribution to history, to industries, and humanity, really. But we 365 over here at WURD, 366 depending on the year. So you know what it is. Stick with us. Make sure you head to wordradio.com/join now. Become a member if you haven't already, because we do Black history all year around here. That's it. All right, it's not just a one-time thing. But anyway, KJ, you know it's Motivation Monday. Real quick, I'm curious to know what's motivating you this week.
The road to 28.
Okay? You're going to strut on in it. You're going to slay it. You're going to slay it.
Yep.
What's motivating me? Today marks a reset in health and wellness. Like February got so intense that I fell off with my daily journaling and reading. My trainer was doing a lot of traveling. I was doing a lot of everything. And so, we had to reschedule sessions and all of that. So I'm getting back into my groove, back into my grind. So what's motivating me this week is that reset. This is the first week of the official reset. And I know I'm going to kill it. I'm committed to it. And I got my accountability folks lined up. And I'm ready to do this, right? Health and wellness, we can't play about that. But anywho, I want to know what's motivating you this week. So call in, let me know. 215-634-8065. Again, 215-634-8065. You can also call in toll free, 866-361-0900. Again, 866-361-0900. We got to take a quick break. When we come back on the other side, I'll share some of what our social media fam, how they responded to that question. But I want to make sure you know who and what we're saving space for on the show today. And it's all about Women's History Month. Okay, so we'll be welcoming at 7:30 Lynn Loker, who is founder of Project W and partner in charge at the Davis Wright Tremaine firm. Project W is a commitment of the firm, and it helps women build great companies and advance their careers and achieve parity in the boardroom and the workplace. So that's going to be a really great conversation, especially when we're thinking about women in law and women in business. And then at 8 p.m. is also Money Monday, which means it's time for some coins and conversation with Joanna Jane, our licensed financial professional and friend to the show. Y'all know every week Joanna joins us on Monday at 8 p.m. as part of our livelihood initiative to provide us with the financial tips, tricks, and tools needed to thrive. So you can learn more about our livelihood initiative by visiting wordworks.com. But, tonight, in honor of Women's History Month, we're talking women in finances, where to focus, and what we need to know when it comes to financial planning. Right? So that's who and what we are saving space for today. And with that said, we're going to go ahead, take a quick break. I am your host, sincerely, Sarita. This is Save Space on WURD Radio, 96.1 FM, 900 AM. It's 22 after the hour, and we'll be right back.
Need to replace your Social Security card? In most states, you can request one online with a My Social Security account. A My Social Security account gives you secure access to your personal earnings history and benefit status. You can also get a proof of income letter, estimate and apply for benefits, and more. Save time. Go online. Open a My Social Security account at ssa.gov/myaccount. Social Security. Securing today and tomorrow.
Produced at U.S. taxpayer expense.
This is not a fad for us. We will not resume our regular programming when things die down. We're not black to help our bottom line or because it's politically correct. We're not joining a fight. This has been our fight, our message, our people. Black lives have always mattered here. We are undeniably, indefatigably, unapologetically, permanently Black Talk Media. WURD. WURD TV. We're streaming live video of this conversation right now. Tune in on YouTube at onWURD or on Facebook at ForWord. WURD TV. Black Talk Media.
Forget
Now we had a good time that we can say we hurted each other, yeah. And boy, it's a shame. I won't be foolish, no. I wanna know. I wanna make sure I'm right, boy, before I let go. You know I thank God sun rises and shines on you. You know there's nothing I would not do. Oh, before I let you go. I would never, 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 never let you go before I go.
You are back listening to Safe Space on WURD Radio. Yes, Kayla J, come on with that energy. I needs that. Anyway, shout out to the folks who are tuned in over on Word TV via our Facebook live stream. Malcolm, Carlos, Shalada. Who else is over here? I'm like catching up. Carlos, he shared today is his maternal grandmother's birthday, and it's also her son's birthday as well. They both transitioned some years ago, but listen, happy heavenly birthday to them both, and always, of course, in the love and light to you and to your family. Malcolm, he saw the photos of Mother and I, doing the shopping thing that we was doing this weekend, supporting black businesses, black women-owned businesses. That's what we were doing. And so once again, want to shout out Tiffany over at Art and Soul Gallery and Boutique. That's located at 5912 Haverford Ave out West Philly. And really quick, speaking of black women-owned businesses, our Level Up contest is here. Okay, if you didn't know, now you know. It's here. In celebration of Women's History Month, the Level Up contest is back. This year, we are highlighting black women business owners. So you can nominate yourself or your favorite woman-owned business. Level Up is definitely a joint production of WURD Radio, WVON out in Chicago, and KJLH out in Los Angeles. So all three of the stations are joining forces to host a historic, interactive, and multimedia contest spotlighting black women-owned businesses in Philly, Chicago, and Los Angeles. So you head to wordradio.com. You can learn more about that, about how the contest works, what the winners will receive, all that good stuff. And we have quite a few goodies for y'all. I mean, I'm counting well over, looks like eight to 10. Goodies, and there's this marketing and community outreach prize package valued at about $5,000. So we making sure we are coming through for black women-owned businesses, and hope that you do too. Again, head over to wordradio.com. You'll see a big banner that says Level Up. You click that, and you can nominate yourself or a black woman-owned business that you think needs to be considered for this contest. So again, I'm so excited about this. We did this last year, slightly different format, and it really was such an empowering experience. And so I'm so happy to see this come back. Every Wednesday at 8 p.m., we're going to be bringing you some great conversations that are tied to the Level Up contest. And I'm not going to give everything away, but just know we got some real fun in store for you this year. So looking forward to that. And with that said, if you missed our question of the day about what's motivating you this week, call in, let me know, 215-634-8065. You can also call in toll free, 866-361-0900. And if you want to shout out a Black woman-owned business, you can use those numbers to do that now. Put them on our radar. Let's make sure we know who they are and we can support them throughout Women's History Month. As far as our question of the day, though, our social media fam have already, started to reply. Brian said March, the month itself. That is what's motivating him. Tawheed, he said, and if you know him, he's an advocate. He's a journalist that focuses on this. But he said weed, and I will keep saying it. No, but seriously, actually realizing a dream faster than I had envisioned, a dream I thought wasn't achievable for at least a few years, more to come on this soon. And like I said, Tawhid, he does so much work and really advancing the interests of Black lives, not only in the media, but also in the cannabis space, and making sure that there is access, especially when we're thinking about entrepreneurship, when we're thinking about coverage of stories and storytelling. So shout out to him. I definitely have to see what's cooking so we can get him on the show and learn a little bit more. But for now, I want to go ahead and welcome our first guest of the show. And tonight is all about Women's History Month. This is the first day, and we get to welcome Lynn Loker, who is founder of Project W and partner in charge at the Davis Wright Tremaine firm. I'll let her tell you a bit about Project W, but just know they are helping women build great companies and then some. And we're going to learn more about that in just a moment. So with that said, Lynn, thank you so much for choosing to save space with us today. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you. Actually, before I forget it, I have a woman to nominate, a Black woman who has a business, she started in Philly. You probably know her, Regina Gwynn of Trust Noir.
Oh, okay. Okay, so I'll have to follow up with you so we can get that nomination in.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But I'm great. Thank you for having me on.
Yeah, it's a pleasure. And let me first check. Did I pronounce your last name correctly? Is it Loker?
Yes, that's exactly right.
Okay. All right. I just want to make sure. So listen, Lynn, let folks know a little bit about who you are and what you do.
Great. Thank you. Well, I'm a recovering lawyer. I practiced law for about 35 years, but realized that women had the power to really influence change if they were running companies. And so I've spent the last 10 years working with women entrepreneurs to help them build game-changing companies. When you lead a company, you can invest in your employees, you can change corporate culture, you can solve problems that other people overlook. So that's really been what's driving me the last few years. And Project W is our initiative. It's got a lot of different facets, but we have intense programs that help female founders build their companies. We collaborate with a lot of organizations, which is, Sarita, actually how I met you, through Black and Brown Founders. And our goal is really to unleash the power of women and their capacity to build transformative business.
Yeah. I feel like when folks typically think of a law firm, they don't associate that with this kind of work that you all are doing at Project W. And I know this work is very much near and dear to your heart, an extension of some of your own experiences as a recovering lawyer. So can you speak a bit about your experiences being a woman in law and how that then led to you trailblazing and creating, founding Project W and now the impact that it has?
Well, at the risk of giving away my age, I have been practicing law for over 35 years. So when I started as a young lawyer, there were very few women in the firm I started with, in my class at law school, and let alone women of color. I'm white, but I was probably one or two of a group of about 15 that started at the law firm I was with, and there weren't many women there. So I spent a lot of years trying to figure out how to get to the other side of being one of the few other people in the room. And as I mentioned at the outset, what I realized is lawyers can really drive change, especially if you're a civil rights lawyer or a public advocate. My practice was in business, in doing M&A work. And I realized that where I could have the most impact was really help people build businesses that were solving big problems. And you, Sarita, you mentioned that it's a little unusual to have a initiative like this at a law firm, but we're really building the next generation of clients for our young lawyers. Our client base is changing day in, day out. We represent more women who own businesses. Our large corporate clients are much more diverse. They're women and people of color in the C-suite, and they want lawyers who look like them. So this, we really are accomplishing two things. We're helping women build great companies, and we're helping our younger lawyers develop relationships with the next generation of clients.
And it's important work there that you're doing. I saw, I guess it was an interview where you mentioned that, during the course of your practicing, I want to say maybe it was you only had like one woman client in the span of 30 years?
Yes. And I'm still good friends with her. I don't represent her anymore because the company she was with got purchased. She was the CFO. And we had it was just a very different relationship. We really trusted one another. She was the only woman. It was a forest products company. She was the only woman in the C-suite, and we could sort of, in addition to dealing with legal problems and helping her do deals, we could share vulnerabilities and give advice to one another, and it was just a very, very different relationship. So part of my goal was to increase the number of women clients out there.
And it's like, can you speak to kind of big picture what that looks like? Because I know at Davis Wright Tremaine, like you said, that you all are making inroads there. But like when we pull back and look at this from an industry perspective, has there been real progress, when it comes to having women who are clients, whether it's at the C-suite level or entrepreneurs, founders, whatever it may be? Is there real progress that you see happening there?
We're seeing more, but all you have to do is open the newspaper, and you can see that in the large companies, the Fortune 500 companies, there's very few women CEOs, but it's in the startup space. In the earlier stage companies, you're seeing more women. Jennifer Hyman, who started Rentham Runway, that's now a unicorn, which is a company that's valued at over $1 billion. There's a woman who started a company in Austin called Everlywell that does home testing for various diseases. They've actually developed a COVID test, and I think her company was recently valued at $1 billion. So there are women who are building companies that have the potential to be, the next Amazon, the next Facebook. They're starting from a little further behind, but I have every confidence that they get there.
Gotcha. So for those of us who are still kind of getting acquainted with Project W, what does that work of helping women build great companies and advance their careers, achieve parity in the boardroom and in the workplace, what does that work actually look like, you know, on a day-to-day basis?
So we have several programs that run during different times of the year. I'll give you a couple of examples. Last year, Microsoft, and it has a corporate venture fund, N12, they reached out to us because they invest in enterprise software companies. And they just don't see enough companies in that space that are founded by women. So they reached out to us to help them build that pipeline, and we put together an 8-week program. There were 12 women entrepreneurs in that program. They were all building in different industries, but technology solutions that worked off the cloud. And it was a fabulous group of founders. We had sessions on marketing your product, on how you engage with a big enterprise customer, on how you raise money, on how you pitch do a sales pitch to a customer. We're doing that again this year. We're also launching a new program. We're calling it the Emerging Food Brand Lab, and it's going to be female-founded packaged food brand companies. So new products that are coming on the market in the food space. And the third new program we're doing is we're calling it the Tech Equity Hub. It's going to be our most ambitious program. It'll be a 12-week program for a cohort of 8 to 10 Black and Latinx female founders who are building tech companies. And we're busy putting together the curriculum for that. We've got a great faculty lined up. We've got some great partners. So we do those programs. We also collaborate with organizations like Black and Brown Founders, Springboard Enterprises. In fact, we're with Springboard and Black and Brown Founders on March 17th. We're hosting the first of what will be 4 pitch events where female founders come and they're called dolphin tests. They come and pitch their business to a feedback-friendly panel. It's not like Shark Tank that's snarky and difficult. It's a panel of experts who provide really helpful feedback. So those are just some of the examples of the things we do.
Yeah, you all are a busy bunch. I'll tell you that much. Project W is really, it's like pushing on all fronts to really bring about change. So I'm glad we had this opportunity to be able to kind of sit and chat and let folks know about the work that you all have going on. I was actually on Davis Wright Tremaine's website, and there's this quote that I saw on there. It says, it's the close relationships that develop the culture. And that spoke to me on so many different levels. But I wanted to get your thoughts, especially as founder of Project W. What does a quote like that mean to you, especially when we think about, Women's History Month and the work that you all are doing?
To me, as a lawyer, and I suspect that the same is true, regardless of what you do for a living, that business is just not about the nuts and bolts of the business. It's about people and the relationships. And for me, the most rewarding part of my career and my practice have been developing trusted relationships with clients. And most recently, it's been mentoring female entrepreneurs as they're trying to build their business. And I think that's where what it's all about is the relationship adds value to whatever we do in business. And without that, it's just a transaction. But with the relationship, it could be transformative, and I think you get more out of it than you give.
Yeah, loves. Listen, if you're just tuning in, I'm chatting with Lynn Loker, founder of Project W and partner in charge at Davis Wright Tremaine. We're having this discussion in honor of Women's History Month, and just kind of taking a short dive into what the landscape looks like for women-owned businesses, for women who are in C-suites, women who are in law, right? Just kind of taking a high-level view at what this all looks like, what this picture looks like for us in 2021. Lynn, you mentioned mentorship. What, if any, advice would you offer specifically Black women-owned businesses, Black women founders, entrepreneurs, at this particular point where we find ourselves, not only as a nation, but just even with, a lot of the strides that companies are either claiming to make or looking to make in response to, the racial uprising and injustices that we saw play out in 2020?
So there's a lot to unpack there. Let me just start by describing something we did back in June and the lessons I learned from that. Maybe that's the best way to answer that question. Right after George Floyd's murder, we, like so many other people, felt we needed to do something. So we reached out to the investors and advisors in our network, and we asked them to volunteer 30 minutes of their time to mentor a Black family. And we got a terrific response. We ended up pairing over 120 founders with advisors and investors. And what the result of that has been, some of those relationships that we paired everyone in July, some of those relationships are still going on. And one of my takeaways is that there are a lot of people who have business experience out there who are willing to give some of their time and expertise, who are interested in doing it, but just don't know how to. So one suggestion I would make is for founders, entrepreneurs, to ask or to seek out organizations that can make connections. They can reach out to us at Project W. There are Black and Brown founders, Black Women Talk Tech, Digital Undivided has lots of programs. But the challenge, Sarita, I think, is really making the connection. And I don't underestimate for a moment how difficult it is for a Black entrepreneur to find a mentor and someone with the expertise he or she needs. It's figuring out how to make that match. And I don't know that we're going to do that, the mentoring initiative we did in June again, but we try through our programming to match mentors with mentees. But mentorship is critical. We think the reason we're launching our Tech Equity Hub this year is that we think lack of access is the biggest impediment. It's not lack of funding is important, but it's much more fundamental than that. It's having someone who could open doors for you, make those warm intros, get you into the networks of influence that are really important to building a business.
Got you. And I appreciate, that added perspective to the conversation. Curious to know where you see Project W kind of going long term. You spoke about a lot of the programs that you all currently have going on and some that are upcoming. If you had to kind of look down the road a bit, Where do you hope to see Project W, whether it's next 3-5 years, what would you like to see it doing?
Well, in terms of focus, we've been for the last 5 years really focused on gender equity, and we're focusing much more going forward on the intersectionality of race and gender. I mean, we're still very focused on female founders, but we really see the need to elevate women of color who are working on building their own businesses. So broadly, that's more of a focus. I think we will continue to do very targeted programs for small cohorts of entrepreneurs. We think that's the way to have the most impact. If I had my wish list, I would hope we could find another 10 Microsofts who were interested in partnering with us to work with entrepreneurs the way we've done with Microsoft on the Success Launch Lab. And we are working on that. We're hopefully going to add another 1 or 2 this year. But big corporations have so much intellectual capital that they can bring to bear to entrepreneurs. So that's going to be a real focus of ours going forward over the next few years, is tapping into some of our big corporate contacts to work with them to lend their expertise.
Got you. So, well, listen, I know I got to get ready to let you go, but for folks who would like to learn more about Project W, or even, read up a bit on Davis Wright Tremaine, what's the best way for us to do that?
The www.dwt.com/Project W. And you can find me on LinkedIn and send me a message there. I'm on Twitter, although I have to admit I don't follow it that closely. But you can find me through our website or on LinkedIn, and I will always talk to any entrepreneur. I love hearing the stories of what made someone found a company, what the challenges are, and what the vision is. So I'm always happy to talk to anyone who's interested in starting and building a business.
Awesome. And loves, again, that website, it's DWT as in Davis Wright Tremaine.com /Project W. Right. So if you put that in, it'll pop right up. And I've dropped that link in the Facebook live stream that we have going on via WURD TV. So you have easy access there if you need it. But Lynn, happy Women's History Month to you. And again, thank you so much for choosing to save space with us today.
To you too, Sarita, and thank you so much for having me. It's been a real pleasure.
Absolutely. All right, loves, we are coming up on a break, but again, I just kind of want to run it back in case you may have missed it. We have our Level Up contest that is officially kicked off. It's a celebration of Black women entrepreneurs and innovators. So I want you to go ahead, head over to wordradio.com. When you get there, you'll see a big banner that says Level Up, and it provides all this great information. If you click it, it'll take you to the to the nomination form, so that you can either nominate yourself or a Black woman business owner that you feel should be highlighted and celebrated as part of this campaign. So this is a joint production of WURD Radio here in Philly, WVON out in Chicago, and KJLH out in LA. And so all forces joining together to make this possible. And we'll be doing this throughout the month of March. We'll be featuring Black women business owners and entrepreneurs who are making a difference in Philadelphia's communities. And so we can't necessarily do this like we want to do it if we don't have you in it, right? You make everything better. You make everything that much more special. So head to wordradio.com and go ahead and click that banner. And once you do, you can nominate yourself or someone you know. And in doing so, they or you are entered for a marketing and community outreach prize package valued at $5,000, right? There is so much in there, including like radio advertising, 1 year for 1 year of a onWURD small business membership. There's an on-air interview that comes with that, some social media outreach, and a slew of other things. So we're making it good for you, right? We're making sure that Black women, entrepreneurs and business owners are really getting some resources that can make every bit of the difference in their level up in business and in life, right? And with that said, I also want to encourage you to head to our livelihood website, wordworks.com, so that you can learn more about our initiative. Check out some of the latest resources that we have shared, the blog posts. If you missed our Bet on Black 2021 blog post, you can go and start scrolling and meeting Black founders and entrepreneurs from across the nation. There are some job resources there. I mean, it's really like, you need to bookmark the page. Let me just say that. Just bookmark it and check it regularly, because that's how often it gets updated, right? Anyhow, got to get ready to take a quick break. But when we come back on the other side, we are keeping the Women's History Month vibes rolling on this here Money Monday. And so, you know, that means Coins and Conversation with Joanna Jane, our licensed financial professional and friend to the show. So stay tuned. You do not want to miss that. This is Safe Space on WURD Radio. I'm your host, sincerely, Sarita, and we'll be back after these messages.
I went to check on Pop today. We put our hands up to the glass as if we were touching. But really, the only touching part was that we both tried to smile.
That's no way to say hello or goodbye. COVID-19 vaccines are here, but until enough of us are vaccinated, we'll all still need to help slow the spread. Keep a 6-foot distance, wear a mask, and avoid indoor social gatherings. Learn more about vaccines and slowing the spread at cdc.gov/coronavirus. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Okay, hers new fire potato chips and cheese curls. They are spicy. Whew, they're hottest snacks yet. Hold on. Whew. But you know, it's not just heat. There's some nice sweet and savory stuff going on too. Ooh, there's that heat again. It burns, but it burns so tasty. Ooh, that's hot. Find Hers Fire Snacks at your store today. Whew. Taste the flavor, feel the heat, break out the Hers.
Hey, WURD family, Reverend Leroy with a boss good recommendation for Clark Roofing. I found them to be a solid business, honest, dependable, fast, and clean workers. Mr. Clark stands by his work. Call him at 215-365-7663.
Call Clark Roofing and ask for a second-generation master roofer, Calvin Clark. Clark Roofing professionally installs a variety of roofing systems for your home or businesses. Call Clark Roofing at 215-365-7663 or visit their website
at clarkroofingpa.com.
Family Therapy Vignette Moments with Dr. Lucille Ijoy. Relationships during this pandemic time, when you are living in a house or apartment with family or friends, or even by yourself, the pandemic will make you ask the question, who in the world are these people living here? You see faces bumping into each other, looking in the refrigerator with them eating snacks. Everywhere you look, there are tired faces, online, working, studying, asking questions, needing help, food shopping. Don't forget the toiletries. Oh, I need another mask. Rush back home. Did the virus get you? Ooh, wash your hands, 20 seconds. Whew, this pandemic ain't no joke. I need some music. Ray Charles, Georgia on my mind. Get Coasa to do that. Tina Turner, Proud Mary, Lord have mercy. Sing, people, sing.
women, Michelle Obama.
If we want to give all of our children a foundation for their dreams, then we must work like never before.
This is WURD Radio, 96.1 FM and 900 AM WURD, Philadelphia. Independent Black Media. Grab your mic. It's time for Kayla J's Karaoke Song of the Day.
You take me to places so exotic and erotic, to places out of this world, none of which I've ever seen before. Baby, when we go, I just don't know how I can explain it, but I just sit back and breathe. And each time we arrive, I just can't believe that you took me there. Oh, baby, you sent me. Oh, baby, you sent me over the clouds, across the moon, and through the Milky Way. Oh, baby, you sent me. Oh, baby, you sent me over the clouds, across the moon, and through the Milky Way. Ain't nothing like when we go up, the two of us, love ship, taking in the full view of our universe, where we rule, we reign, far away from any pain. I just sit back and breathe, and each time we arrive, I just can't believe that you took me there.
Save Space with Sincerely Sarita. Right now on WURD Radio, 96.1 FM and 900 AM WURD. Independent Black Media.
I'm gonna lay it right on the line. A dollar bill is a friend of mine. We need money. Talking about money, y'all. I say I'm gonna lay it right on the line. A dollar bill is a friend of mine. We need money. Talking about money, money, money. I don't wanna be a millionaire. I just want my proper share. We need money. Talking about money, money, money. I don't need that wealth and fame. I just want enough to play the game. We need money. Talking about money, money, money. Now, honey, that money.
It's Money Monday, y'all, here on Save Space. So you know that means it's time for some coins and conversation with Joanna Jane, our licensed financial professional and friend to the show. Every week, Joanna joins us as part of our Livelihood Initiative to provide us with financial tips, tricks, and tools needed to thrive. And in honor of Women's History Month, we're talking women in finances, right? Where to focus and what we need to know when it comes to financial planning. And so we're about to get into that. This financial literacy segment is brought to you by AARP Fraud Watch Network. So much love and appreciation to them. And with that said, Joanna Jane, hey girl, hey, how you doing?
Hey, hon, how are you?
Listen, I'm always better when I get to chat with you and get ready to get schooled, okay? You know, I got my pen, my paper, all that good stuff ready. But I put out this question of the day, you know, in honor of Motivation Monday.
Don't have me preaching, Sarita. You know what y'all said the other week. Don't do it.
Listen, you know, we ain't never mad at a little bit of preaching. We ain't never mad. But I'm curious to know, What's motivating you this week?
You know, thinking about the future. I must say, just having some really great conversation. It's having me really thinking about the future. It's making me be more intentional about my steps. It's challenging me in a good way, on a couple different lanes. And I think that when you have people in your professional and in your personal space, it's like, yeah, you know that thing you said that you wanted to do? So what's up?
Like,
you know, or even like, you know, when you start to feel like God may be answering some of your personal prayers, it's like, oh yeah, so that looks kind of familiar. So what's up? So I feel like I'm getting it on the spiritual level and in the earthly realm as well. So that's what's motivating me this week, which also makes me think about my daughter, obviously, because she's in the midst of all of this, and she continues to just, you know, be that person that reminds me, like, you know, Mom, you're really doing it. Like, she just will come out the blue, and she's like, she has this thing where she says, Mom, you're my biggest motivator. Like, when you really say that you're going to do something, like, you really do it. And she'll just come out the blue and stuff like that. Although in the moment it's like, oh, that's so cute. But then at the same time, it's like, ooh, she watching.
let me focus. I gotta focus. She's watching. The babies are watching. Yeah. No, you are. One of the things I said at the top of the show was just like, Black woman doing a darn thing. Oh, and you're definitely a Black woman who is doing just that. You know, a professional, a business person who's doing just that. And so, you know, when you hit me up and you're like, it's Women's History Month and we want to talk women in finances, and I was like, well, let's get to it then. Let's get it done. So yeah, where do you want to start at today?
So first, I want to just give a shout out to all of my ladies, right, that are making their mark in history, that are the change agents. They are the game changers, and they have taken, you know, the risk, right? The risk of being called out their name, the risk of losing their jobs, the risk of even like being pushed out of their communities sometimes when people didn't understand the vision that God placed on them, but they knew that they had to do something big. They had to, and sometimes they didn't even know it was big, right? They just knew that they had to do this thing. It was called a thing, and anything else that was around there, because quite often, if we're being honest, God does not show us the entire plan. He gives us these little breadcrumbs along the way, and then eventually we realize that we have enough breadcrumbs to have a loaf, and we're like, wow, I didn't know it was really all of that. So shout out to all of my ladies, you know, even those that we look upon as our ancestors that are no longer here. Thank you for paving the way. Sis, you did that. So that's what I want to say first. And with that being said, we should also be encouraged as ladies to make sure that we're being very diligent in our finances, because there are some things that we're still fighting for. You know, we're still fighting for equal play. We are definitely being recognized like no other time, you know, especially since 2020. So I want to actually go through a couple statistics that we need to be aware of as we're planning for our finances, and then I'll give some takeaway tips as we prepare to wrap up. So some women's financial tips, financial statistics I want us to be aware of. The median earnings for all women are about $638 a week compared to $798 for men. So what does that mean? That's approximately 80% of what men earn on average. And this is based upon the Bureau of Labor Statistics. So this is real facts that I'm giving here. We're not earning as much as men, and we can have the same job, same degree, all of that, which we're fighting for equal rights. So for my fellas out there that you like, hey, she's not really saying anything that applies to me this month. No, we need you. We need our kings. We need your support. We need you also lobbying for this right as well. Y'all know what the scriptures say, you know, you don't want to end up being on the roof of the house because the woman is mad. So you might want to be able to help us out, brothers, in this area. I'm just saying. Even God knew that wasn't a good idea. So you might want to you might want to help us out. You might want to help us out in this area. The next thing, 80 to 90% of women will be solely responsible for their finances at some point in their lives, mainly due to divorce and the fact that on average, women outlive men by 7 years. This is based off of the National Center for Women and Retirement Research. So ladies, when we start getting into some of these tips throughout this month, it's not just, woman hear me roar. I run the world, even though we kind of do now. I mean, if we think about it, right, to a degree, right, Sarita, Madam Vice President, right? But we're saying this because, in all seriousness, because we are going to be the sole financial, the responsible person in this scenario at some point in time, because we do outlive men. The next one, the average age of a widow, Sarita, for a widowed woman is 55 years old. That's still young, right? That's still young, 44% of women expect to retire at age 70, and 19% of them do not plan for retirement. They don't feel like they're probably going to ever be able, to retire. So, these are statistics, ladies, that I don't want us to feel bad about. We just need to take these as markers, like, okay, this is another reason why I want to be really intentional, about my finances. And then my last statistic here is plenty of articles have been written bemoaning the fact that women are less likely to invest in the stock market than men. However, Sarita, once we know what we're doing, once we know why we invested in that particular fund or that stock option or that bond, we do outpace men in the market. So what does that mean? We have to be willing to be educated, get into these programs, get into these workshops, be willing to invest in ourselves. So I wanted to share, some of those things as we go into an area that, I love to talk about, which is why women need to actually get into real estate. That's one of the areas we're going to be pinpointing. Next week, we'll talk about the actual stock market. I at least wanted to lay the foundation of why this is so important. So before I go into that, I know your mind was working. You got any questions, comments?
Listen, I want to first open up the phone lines, for any reactions that folks might have to some of those statistics, because I definitely, you learn something new every day. I just learned quite a bit in this moment, this short time, 5 minutes with Joanna Jane, and I got notes already. So if you have questions or thoughts or reactions about these statistics, maybe you've experienced them in some way, shape, or form, would love to hear from you. 215-634-8065. That is the hotline number. Again, 215-634-8065. You can also call in toll free, 866-361-0900. Again, 866-361-0900. There was definitely something, they all stuck out, but there was one particular statistic that you shared where you said 80 to 90% of women will be solely financially responsible for herself at some point in time in her life, whether, that's due to divorce or just to the general fact that women tend to outlive men by 7 years. Mm-hmm. Now, I've always, known that women outlive men, typically, on average, but I never really stopped to think, well, what does that mean for our finances? Mm. What does that mean for the kind of conversations that, whether you're in a marriage or relationship or you're not, that you need to make sure you're having to handle your financial planning effectively. Yeah. So that you just added another layer of like, I guess, yeah. Right. If they're transitioning a little, well, yeah, what does it mean for our finances and what that looks like. So I personally, that was one that stuck out to me.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. And when you're working with a financial advisor, especially when you're coming in as a couple, when I was working with a lot of clients one-on-one and I heard that they were married, unless the woman was giving me, because it's typically the woman that says, hey, sis, I need help, or we need help, right? Mm-hmm. Unless there's some really extreme circumstances of why she does not want her partner to be present, I always say we need to do this together. We need to talk about this together, because then once we start to have these intentional conversations and we're seeing what the statistics is actually stating, now he'll understand why we need that jumbo life insurance policy. Because if you have multiple children and he happens to pass away before you do. Now what happens to the mortgage if if the house is not paid off, if we still have a youngest child in school, all of those things. So knowing this information makes you go about your financial decisions differently. Informed decisions is exactly that, getting the information so you can make wise decisions.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And loves, if you're just tuning in, I'm chatting with Joanna Jane for our Coins and Conversation segment. We are, focusing on women, our finances. And this is our nod to Women's History Month. And this won't be the last conversation that we have along this lines throughout the month. Joanna Jane just hinted at some of the material, some of the curriculum that is coming down the line. So, okay, so get ready to learn. Classes in session. But no, all right, so we got the statistics and kind of even just laid down the foundation for what we can expect for the rest of the month. Let's get into some of the nitty gritty.
Yeah, so today we're going to talk about real estate. I was reading a Forbes article not too long ago, and this was one of the things that they stated. We find that women purchase properties when they are listed at higher relative prices and are choosing to actually list the prices for the property when they want to sell them at a lower market price. So what does that mean? You're losing out on opportunity. So I'm going to get to all of this. I'm going to bring it all together. I got my facts going on today. The next thing is the study also suggested that men choose to buy properties that are, I would just say, less desirable. Men are more willing to, grab the properties that we would call considered to be like shells, and then sell it on the market and get a higher rate of return. So somebody's probably like, so what does this all mean? What this means is, and I'm going to, say this with caution, women, we need to be willing to take more risks. The reason why typically men also end up having more money when it comes down to retirement, because there's a certain part of a man that he just jumps out there, even with not having all of the information. We like to know everything, and we know this. We want to know everything. So what does that marker mean right there on my retirement statement? And what does this mean? And we'll ask all these questions to Rita, right? Which is not bad. But we want to know everything before we make a decision. And what ends up happening? Life happens. We get pregnant. Mom and dad get sick. And while all these things are happening, we start putting more and more stuff on the back burner, and we never make a move. Same thing when we look at real estate. We're often looking for things that look, quote unquote, safe. So it's like, oh, well, it looks like I won't have to do as much work. It looks like this, it looks like that, and it looks safe to you. So you'll go with the property that is being sold at a higher price, not thinking that, hey, that property across the street that might look a little bit scarier, hey, if you maybe get some support and learn how to go about that transaction, you'll probably actually make maybe double or at least another 25% on top of what you would have made had you just solely decided to play it super safe. So that's why we're talking about this. Real estate is one of the most lucrative ways that you can accumulate wealth through appreciation, tax breaks, cash flow, and I can go on and on and on. And what we're finding is that, again, that same area of wanting to play it safe or feeling like we have to know everything before we actually jump out there is actually hurting us than helping us. Although we are the ones that are buying more properties right now than men, but it's what type of properties are we buying? It's almost like it's not what you say, but how you say it. It's like one of those situations, right?
Got you. I'll tell you what, I think we have a caller on the line. Let's go to Gary on line 1. Hey, Gary, thank you for saving space with us today. What's on your mind?
Yes, thank you for taking my call. I was listening to the discussion here talking about males as opposed to females in reference to finances. In many cases, the woman may be better at the finances. So as a couple, as one, I think you would come together and meet and dialogue about your financial decisions. And of course, if your wife is more experienced in that area, then you're still going to make a joint decision together. It doesn't always have to be the man that's the one that's better with the finances. And I don't want to sound like it shouldn't be a division between the two. If one part
I follow you.
Informed,
absolutely.
better informed, then we should be able to sit down at the table and say, okay, like if it's my wife and it's like she's better with the finances and she breaks it all down to me so I have a better understanding, okay, sweetheart, that's what we're going to go with. But I don't like the fact that it seems like sometimes we have this division between the male and the female in the black community. That's hurting us.
Yeah.
If we can't learn to be one and on the same accord. I just wanted to make that point.
He's absolutely right.
Got you. No, I appreciate you, Gary. And yeah, like, to add context also, I don't think it's just limited to the black community in terms of the gender roles that we assign with, who's supposed to handle finances, who's supposed to handle homes, all of that kind of stuff. But I think, Gary, in a lot of ways, you spoke to one of the very points we made is like the important conversations that need to happen, especially when you're in a relationship or in a marriage or a partnership around finances. But Joanna, your thoughts in response to Gary?
No, I think he's absolutely right. When people work together in partnership, and partnership, period. I don't care if we're talking about partnership just in business. When you do interdependence and not independence, it's always going to work out well, period. So if you have families, if you have a couple that's willing to work together, if you have men that are willing to, and I say men because in my experience as a financial coach, guys, we typically got to pull you a little bit more to have that difficult conversation around money. And I know it's linked to pride. I know it's linked to ego. But Sarita, what I've learned that ego stands for, edging God out. And God provides us wisdom. So by us allowing our ego to drive us, we are edging wisdom out of the conversation, out of the household, out of the conversation with your significant other. So that means we're not making wise decisions. So all these things play a factor in how we are able to either move forward as a couple or not.
There go that sermon, y'all. That was a little bit of it. just so we clear. You know what we always gonna get? At least one quality sermon. And I don't know about y'all, but I felt that.
Yeah, so, but thank you, Gary. And, so I think it's also great for, men to talk with other men, about having that conversation and knowing, like, if you don't know, bro, it's okay. It's okay. Work with your significant other. Talk. It's okay. If you're not sure, how, your retirement works or how this works, or just even the strategic planning of it, like, it's okay. And guys, let me just give you a quick tip, in relationship areas, and Sarita, back me up on this. We actually find it attractive when you are vulnerable and say, babe, I don't know. Can we learn together?
Listen, I'm all for it. You don't know? All right, I know a little something, but let's go learn something together. Let's go learn this something.
Amen. Amen.
You said, as soon as you said it, I was like, you need to put that on a T-shirt. Partnership, period.
Yes.
Like, across the board is partnership, period. And even, if you're not in a relationship or in a marriage, you're navigating your finances on your own. You still can do that through partnership, whether it's a financial expert or, researching, studying. There are levels of partnership that still exist in building that wealth. Joanne, I did want to ask, you were sharing a bit about real estate in a study that was done, and that women tend to buy higher and sell lower. And that men tend to, be more willing to take risks to buy a shell property or something of that sort. Is that something that you've seen throughout the course of your career in real estate?
Yes. I said it real quick. But what has been helpful is the fact that, and this is where, I take the charge, even on days where I may feel like I don't feel like doing this today, because, we all have that moment. That is the other part that motivates me, that there's another sister out there that's wondering, how can I do this thing? So if that means today I'm putting on my Timbs, I'm putting on my hard hat, and I'm taking a couple of my mentees out, and they see Joanna busting through and ripping off a board off of the front of the house, and we're walking up in there, then that's what that means, because I need that sister to know you can do this too. You don't have to buy the block, but I need not to be afraid of this. You can take this and bite it, one piece at a time. You can also create your own team and have wise counsel, right, guiding you through the process. I am not on my projects every day. at all. I have a great, wise, skilled team, you know, that helps me make sure that we are going through this efficiently. So that's what I've experienced. And once we actually go through it, afterwards, and this is real, 100% real, we'll go out afterwards, have lunch, and it's like, you know, that wasn't that bad. It's just like that first thing you just have to do. I will never forget taking my mentee into her first vacant home, and we were just walking, and I just started to feel alone. I'm like, the lights just seemed dim. I said, where are you? She said, I'm down here. I'll just wait for you. I said, girl, if you don't give me
I'll wait for you down here. It's a good lunch.
Yeah. But once we do it, we do well.
Yeah.
So,
Loves,
which
again,
is some tips I want to definitely give to women when it comes to home buying or just buying properties, you know, period, as we prepare to wrap up the segment, so they know what are some things we can do in this.
Yeah, no, we get to walk straight through. So that's why I wanted to take a moment and let our loves know you can call in, join the conversation if you have questions or perspective on, you know, finances, specifically women in real estate or in finance. Call in 215-634-8065. You can also call in toll free. 866-361-0900. And I'm also, you know, very curious to hear from men, to hear your perspective on navigating finances, on equal pay, all of those things. It might be on your spirit. You can call in, or if you're tuned in over on WURD TV via Facebook Live, you can drop your response or your thoughts in the comment section. All right, so Joanna Jane, let's keep it rocking.
Okay, awesome. All right, ladies. So here are some tips when you are preparing to get into real estate. And you know, if you watched our Buy the Block series last year, I said that although people often talk about it's the GC, it's the person that's going to be managing the team, it is your mentor. It is the program that you're willing to invest in. So please make sure that you're getting information and operating in wisdom is super important. The other thing is make sure that your home payments fit into your budget. So that goes whether you are buying a commercial property and you're taking on an additional, you know, mortgage for a short period of time while you're doing that construction, or if you're actually getting into your own personal home. We need to be doing those budget checks and making sure that our emergencies are in place, so that way in the event something happens, we're able to navigate accordingly. For those that are renting, take some time, play around with some numbers, reach out to a real estate agent or a mortgage broker or a mortgage specialist, and compare what you're paying in rent to what you would actually be paying in a mortgage. Because you may find it's not that much of a difference. And the only real difference is one allows you to have appreciation. And as you make those payments every month, you now increase equity. And one, you don't, because it's not your property. So that's the area that we're losing opportunity, you know, for wealth. So that's something that you can do. Also, research home warranties and understand if your home needs it. Now, let me be clear. I truly believe in playing it safe than sorry. Some people will say, hey, if my house is paid off, I don't need homeowners insurance, or I don't need a home warranty. Things happen. If you are living in that house, and especially if you have children or multiple children for that matter, or a very just aggressive man that likes to pull on stuff and things are just going to break, it's just the natural wear and tear. Something is going to break. You're going to need those type of services. So make sure that your insurance is up to date. Make sure that your home warranties are up to date, because the last thing you want is an emergency to happen during a time period that technically one of those policies had lapsed, and you don't have the money to make up for the difference. So very important. If you have a particular type of, you know, home in mind, such as a condo, townhome, single family home, try your best to stick to that. Because what ends up happening when you're shopping around, things get real pretty. We see backsplashes and countertops and all these different things. And this can end up hurting the budget, and we'll make an emotional decision, because 9 times out of 10, Pinterest done got the best of us. DIY, HGTV done got the best of us. And now we're making these decisions like, and our budget is screaming in our pocket or on our iPhone, like, remember me, remember me. So ladies, please make sure that we are sticking in budget. And this goes the same way from when we're shopping around for our commercial properties. Like right now, I am trying my best to keep it together because I'm seeing a lot of cabinet styles that are coming out, and I'm like, okay, you are not living here. You are not living here. You don't need that level 4 on top. Like, but you have to know your weaknesses, right? You know, so ladies, make sure that you have your paper, have your iPad or your tablet. Stick to the budget. If you know that you only have it within your monthly, allowance of expenses to manage, because sometimes the read is not about the mortgage, but can you manage that 6-bedroom house? Can you manage the lawn that comes along with that? Maybe not. So you need to go right back and maybe consider, maybe I just need to stay in this condo for a while. I still own it, or I'm still paying on it to one day 100% own it, and this is what I can afford. I don't have to worry about, landscaping responsibilities and things of that nature. So it's not always about the monthly payment. Can you afford the upkeep?
Yeah. Listen, I done walked into and experienced my fair share of, beautiful big old homes and many mansions, and one of the first things, it never fails, that I think as I'm pulling up and as I walk in is, who cleans this? Who maintains this? Like, do y'all have a service? Do you have a weekly maid service that comes in? Like, the maintenance is the first thing on my mind. I'm like, this is a big lawn. Wow. Do you have a riding lawnmower? Do you have
right.
Some folks that's coming in doing this for you? Like, that maintenance side of it is definitely important, that upkeep, because we can have this big old grand vision of that house that we want and what it's supposed to look like, and it's like, all right, that's going to either be energy that's going to require you to clean it and upkeep it, or that's going to be dollars that you're going to factor into your budget to make sure that folks can do the stuff you don't want to do or don't know how to do.
So true. So true. So we have 2 more tips that I'm going to give, which Sarita was exactly what you stated, goes right into this one. It is not wrong to buy a basic looking home, ladies. That still has good value, because you can actually, upgrade that home over time. Like, you may have a smaller home in terms of square footage, but you might have, in terms of the actual lot itself, you may have a decent lot size that you can expand on that home over time. You don't have to decorate it within 30 days of you moving in. So you can take your time with the house. So as you ride past, some of these shells or some of these homes that don't necessarily look like, some of the houses that we see on HGTV, they can turn into that over time as you then accumulate, more equity, and you can take the equity out and fix it up and do all these different things. So don't get caught up in the final product, right? We talked about destination disease, I think about a couple weeks back when we talked about goal setting for the year. Destination disease will be the killer of your goals. We have to make sure that we're thinking about the journey along the way. And last but not least, we go right back again to education. And I'm really happy about this because O'Hara Partners, Sarita, we are launching our first financial and housing counseling initiative in Baltimore City on Friday, where we're providing education. So
congratulations,
thank you so much. Thank you. I'm so excited.
They doing more and be more. They doing more.
I'm so excited about this, and we have some amazing leaders and local financial institutions that have partnered with us. We're giving close to like $43,000 in down payment assistance to purchase homes. I mean, just amazing. All that to say, when you are preparing to go into home ownership, just like we talked about in the very beginning, if you're getting into investment property, you want to get a mentor, you want to invest in classes and so forth. If you're looking to purchase your first home, don't sleep on educational opportunities like financial and housing counseling programs, because they give you a home ownership certificate that you can often take to a local financial lending institution. And this is where you can qualify for a number of down payment assistance programs that may be offered through your job, the city, that local nonprofit organization. And now you're also helping yourself be on the preventative side of possibly being in, foreclosure one day. You also get other perks where they'll provide you like home inspection vouchers. These are things that can easily add up. Like the average home inspection is like $700. The average appraisal is $600, right? And again, this is all dependent upon how big that house is, what's going on in that house, what type of report do you need per requirement of the lender. So all of these things are really, really important. And as we go through the rest of the month, we're going to be highlighting another financial specialty, another area where we want to make sure that we are improving as we are in Women's History Month. I am Joanna Jane. Please make sure that you also check out Before You Build ebook. It is out right now. So when we talk about education, Before You Build is an opportunity for you to plug into our 4-part series. I'm so excited for this book. We have actually a free webinar that's going to be coming up. So please make sure that you follow me on all of our platforms, on Instagram, at The Real Joanna Jane, on Facebook, Joanna Jane, on YouTube, Joanna Jane, and make sure that you grab the book. You can go to beforeyoubuildebook.com and grab your copy of the book today. And we also have a masterclass coming up in April. So when we talk about educational opportunities, and that's for women and men, right? So, bring your lady in, come together. We had Gary, I believe his name was earlier, that talked about couples. Yes, make it a date night, right? Come and get this free information and take advantage of the master class if you would like to in April.
Okay, so clearly, yeah, y'all stay working over there. Let's be clear on that. They stay working, y'all. I've actually dropped the link for the ebook in our WURD TV live stream. Again, that's beforeyoubuildebook.com. And Joanna, there is such a wealth of information that you dropped on us today. And I have to say it's hit me a little different because I know that, and I don't know that I've said this like publicly, this might be that moment, but I know I want to purchase a home in the next, few years. And so I've been thinking about what that's going to look like and how I'm going to go about that process and timelines and all of that. And even, dabbling maybe in real estate. What could that look like? Mm-hmm. And so you mentioned real estate programs. Are there any that you might recommend to folks who are like starting to consider that path?
Now, when you say real estate programs, are you talking about more for investment knowledge?
For investment. Mm-hmm.
Me?
Yep. I'm talking about getting them coins up.
Yeah, right. I would say you can start right here. No, absolutely. We provide an opportunity where we teach people on how you can go about the investment opportunity. Actually, we are going to have a free webinar this month, I believe, and I'm going to confirm it for you by next week. I believe that may be like the 18th of March. We are going to do a free webinar where we're going to focus on real estate financial terminology. We're also going to talk about some of the basic real estate concepts that allow your property to pay for itself. So that's a great way of starting. I'm also not going to just hold all the love on my end. I started somewhere. Everybody has their own view on, Jay Morrison Academy, I think is another good opportunity. The man is known to be a serial entrepreneur. He focuses in the area of real estate very heavy. He created a Tulsa real estate fund. If we looked upon some of his websites some of his social media platforms over the last, few weeks, people that invested in his organization received their first dividend check. So next week we'll talk about, stocks. And for those that don't know what dividends mean, that means that the company was in a profit, right? Those shareholders were also, have a form of ownership. So when the company does well, that company also pays out to those shareholders based upon the percentage that they actually invested into the business. He has classes that I believe are like $99. These are things that are not expensive. And if we think about it in the grand scheme of things, you can spend $200, $500 on a class today. But let me tell you, you're going to spend way more than that if you go into this area blind, saying, I'm not going to spend that money on someone's program. I'm going to keep it in my own pocket. Why would I pay for that? Because the first error on your investment property, I guarantee you, is more than $500. I can almost guarantee you that pain of writing that check, wherever you're going to go get that money from, will be more than $500.
Out of curiosity, so folks, can really understand it, and if you feel comfortable enough to share,
sure,
what did like one of your first early real estate investment mistakes cost you?
Okay, all right, no problem. Girl, don't make me have to do the screen share and show you an invoice because I'm about to go in. Okay.
No, we take your word for it.
So this was something that I did, and this is a gem, right? This is something I would actually teach one of my students. When you are doing renovations, especially a large renovation that requires you to actually get architectural plans, doing a build to design versus a design to build will cost you. Meaning that if you already come up with the design and now you're saying like, let's fit this design into the build. Now you're trying to come up with a sketch that you basically made at home and now you're forcing it into that house. Versus if you build it the other way around, it will actually make more sense. I hope that made sense. I hope I didn't get anybody confused. So let me say that again. When you do an architectural plan from the very beginning and you incorporate everyone that's on the team, the GC that's there, the structural engineer, and you guys are designing it together, a design to build, now you're making sure that everything makes sense. Now you can look in the walls. Now you can see how much room you have. Now you can see what type of framing I should use. Versus now you have this build that's already there and now you're trying to force a design into it. Because when you do that and the house is saying, no, I don't want your design. That's how you really feel. Now after this architectural plan is stamped and approved by the city, for you to make any changes, you have to pay money. And now if you have to buy more materials, that means that's called a change order. And I think we learned in the by the block series, change orders mean you have to pay more money. So if you had $20,000 allotted or $25,000 allotted for your framing, and the house said, I don't like that design, that don't fit over here, your architect or your GC may say, hey, we got to spend another $2,600, another $2,500, or maybe another $5,000 in just material. We didn't even get to labor for them to correct that.
And that's what you experienced.
Right. And the thing is, I knew better, but because I was trying to be like, you know what, no, we can make this work. I was being hasty. I was allowing the pressure of why aren't we moving fast enough to get to me. And I went and I got the design done and then tried to fit it into the house. And it's like, no, that's not going to work.
Right. The house said, no.
No, the house, no.
Well, listen, this is why I always appreciate, Coins and Conversation, because there's just a level of transparency and realness that we can have as we learn and as we better understand how to not only improve our financial standings, but the vision that we have for wealth building for our family and for our communities. So listen, the Women's History Month Coins of Conversation has officially kicked off. Make sure you tune in every Monday at 8 p.m. Joanna Jane will be joining us, providing us with those financial tips, tricks, and tools that we need to thrive. And she already dropped where you can follow her at, how you can reach her at The Real Joanna Jane across social media platforms. If you want to start elevating, leveling up your learning, your education now, you can head to beforeyoubuildebook.com to get in on the Buy in the Block Back series and Before You Build, the Before You Build series, right? So a good time always. Joanna Jane, thank you so much, love, for doing what you do, just coming through, dropping gems.
Thank you so much. And I meant to tell you, you did that photo shoot. Oh. Baby. You did that. I said, come on, Sarita. Now said sincerely. You understand what I'm saying? You did a good job. No, serious. You look
Thank
amazing.
you so
You
much.
look amazing.
Thank you so much, love. It was a fun time.
Absolutely amazing. All right. I will see y'all next week. Stay safe.
Alrighty, love. All right. And so listen, loves, this financial literacy segment featuring, of course, the one and only Joanna Jane is brought to you by AARP Fraud Watch Network. For more information, please call AARP Fraud Watch Network helpline at 1-877-908-3360, whether it's to report a scam or get help if you fallen victim. We know that this is absolutely something that has not only been happening, but we see increases of it happening in the midst of this pandemic. And so when it comes to our finances, we have to make sure that we are doing our due diligence to keep our eyes out for scams, scammers, all that stuff. But also, just being equipped with the information needed should we find ourselves in that situation. So again, much love to AARP. And with that said, we are going to go ahead and take a quick break. But the phone lines are open. Call in. Let me know how you're doing. How's your Monday going? You ready for this week? Call in 215-634-8065. Toll free 866-361-0900. This is Safe Space. I'm your host, sincerely, Sabrina. It's 43 after the hour, and we'll be back after these messages.
Well, the kids are in bed. Time for a little grown-up quiet time.
What do you mean quiet time? It's your birthday. We're about to party.
Haha, funny. It's gonna have to be a you and me party this year. You know we can't have anybody over.
Well, your mom and dad are coming from Florida. Sis will be here from California. Oh, and a couple of old friends from just about everywhere will be showing up. They should all be here about now.
COVID-19 has changed the way we do things, for now. But social distancing doesn't mean you can't be social. COVID-19 doesn't have to keep us apart. Friends and family are finding new ways to be together, especially with how hard it's hitting the Black community. Vaccines are here, but until enough of us are vaccinated, we still have to be down with slowing the spread. Keep a 6-foot distance, wear a mask, and avoid indoor social gatherings. Learn more about vaccines and slowing the spread at cdc.gov/coronavirus. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
The WURD Radio newsletter, keeping you informed, engaged, and connected. Sign up by visiting WURDradio.com. Scroll to the bottom of the page and type your email address under Connect with Us. You'll receive the latest information on WURD Radio, messages from our president and CEO, Sarah Lomax-Reese, exclusive articles and multimedia content, and resources. Stay informed with the WURD Radio newsletter.
What's up, everyone? I know you know the word, no, not the station, but this word, J-O-B that is, and our friends at Amoroso's Baking Company are hiring right now. Amoroso's has been baking the delicious bread in our community for over 100 years, and they want you to join their team today. The old and the young love Amoroso's, and they are hiring right now. Check it out. They offer fair pay and provide health, dental, and prescription plans after 90 days employment. Call 856-754-0355 or visit amorososbaking.com for details.
Want the latest in WURD swag? Check out the shop tab on WURDradio.com. Hoodies, tees, and more in a variety of colors. The shop tab on WURDradio.com. Show the world that you're all about Black. Talk Media. Save Space with Sincerely Sarita. Right now on WURD Radio. 96.1 FM and 900 AM WURD. Independent Black Media.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh. I'm glad this week is over. I need to get away. Go home and throw my clothes on. Come get you right away. Can't wait to see you looking lovely. I hope you're thinking of me. Cause all I want is time with you and don't need nothing more. I see
are back listening to Save Space on WURD Radio, 96.1 FM, 900 AM. Listen, I want to run back the number for AARP Fraud Watch Network. I know some folks inquired about that, may not have caught it the first time that we shared it. And so I'm going to share that. I've also dropped that information in the Facebook Live over on WURD TV. So it's there as well. But once again, running this back, so make sure you got your pen and paper or you got your notebook pulled up on your phone. For more information, you can call AARP Fraud Watch Network Helpline at 877-908-3360. Okay, one more time, 877-908-3360. And you can use that number to report a scam or get help if you've potentially fallen victim to some scam, right? So I hope this information is helpful and useful to you. Make sure you pass it along to folks in your family, your community, your network, so that we all are, equipped with the information needed should we need help, should we find ourselves in that predicament, okay? With that said, we got about 5 minutes left before we got to get out of here, and I want to take a moment to shout out the Economy League, because starting tomorrow, we have some exciting events happening. The Wells City Challenge Pitch Competition is going down March 2nd, March 3rd, and March 4th. And I have the absolute honor and pleasure of serving as a host for that. I'll be emceeing every day that the event is happening. And so I do hope to see you all there. On March 2nd, the pitches are going to focus on community and social connection. Those finalists on March 3rd, which is Wednesday, we're going to be hearing from food and nutrition finalists. And then on March 4th, we'll focus on mind and body, right? Those finalists. So it's going to be a really good time. If you may not recall, the Wells City Challenge supports community solutions for millennial health and mental health through incubator workshops, mentorship, pitch competitions, and also providing over $50,000 in prizes. So winners of the pitch competitions will participate in an accelerator program, and they'll do so for the chance to receive an additional $50,000 in seed investment. So over the course of 3 days, the finalist teams are going to bring their A game in virtual pitch competitions produced by the Economy League. And I'm really looking forward to hearing the pitches, to seeing the judges' reactions or critiques, all of that good stuff. It's going to be a good time. So if you want to learn more, if you're interested in RSVPing for that event, you can head to economyleague.org. Again, that's economyleague.org. I have dropped that. Y'all know how I do. I try to cover all the bases. I dropped that website in the Facebook live stream, so you all have that as well. And I am going to, because I'm scrolling, I didn't do it, so I'm about to do that now, for our Level Up contest. Okay, the nomination form is open, it's live. We are looking to celebrate women entrepreneurs and innovators, Black women entrepreneurs and innovators. So if that is you, or if that is someone that you know, y'all need to complete this nomination form and make sure that you are a part of this contest, because we are highlighting Black women business owners, and we can't do that without you, right? You got to put us on to you, or you got to put us on to the folks that you know. I mean, I know I got some folks in my network, and I'm sharing this out, letting them know, hey, you need to get in on this. So hopefully you'll do the same. There's a great prize package valued at over $5,000, and we're doing this with 3 other radio stations, well, 2 other radio stations, I should say, including WURD, and that's WVON in Chicago and KJLH in Los Angeles. So every Wednesday at 8 p.m., it will be Level Up focused, right? All of our conversations are going to be Level Up focused, and the first one will kick off this Wednesday at 8 p.m. It's a really special one. I don't know if I can give everything about that away yet, but just stay tuned for more details on that, because if there's one thing I know, that will be a conversation for the airwaves, especially during Women's History Month. I'm so excited about it. But I think I handled all the business that I needed to handle to make sure y'all got everything on your radar that you need to have on your radar. A reminder that if you have not headed over to, wordworks.com to check out more about our livelihood initiative, please do. Our team works really hard to, bring those resources, even our catalog of on-air interviews that we've done. We got audio on demand over there. It's all focused around, business, entrepreneurship, jobs, and so much more. So we got that popping. We got the blog going. We got the Level Up contest highlighted over there as well. There's a lot of video content that you can check out and meet entrepreneurs and small business owners from across Philadelphia. It's just a resource in itself. So again, wordworks.com. Make sure you check that out. And of course, if you are not a ForWord member, I'm gonna need you to go on ahead and let's get a move on that. Okay, family, let's make it happen. Let's support Black Talk Media, Black Talk Radio. Y'all know WURD Radio is the only Black-owned and operated talk radio station, Black Talk radio station in Pennsylvania, and one of few in the nation. And we are able to keep our doors open and stay on the airwaves to, bringing opportunities like Level Up and EcoWord and the Livelihood Initiative. All of these different things are made possible by way of the support of our ForWord members. And so to our ForWord members, we love you. We thank you. Couldn't do this without you, right? But you can head to wordradio.com/join now to start or renew your membership. And with that said, it is time for us to get out of here. A very special thank you to our guest this evening, Lynn Loker, founder of Project W and partner in charge at Davis Wright Tremaine Firm. And of course, our girl, Joanna Jane, our licensed financial professional and friend to the show. Much love and appreciation to Kayla J for holding down the phone lines, the board, and everything in between. If you haven't already, follow WURD Radio across all platforms, at ForWord on Facebook, at onWURD over on Instagram and YouTube. I'm on there as well, at Sincerely Sarita, SYREETA, and Kayla J is at KALAJ_music nerd. Keep it dials locked to 96.1 FM, 900 AM. Up next is Keeping It Real with the Reverend Al Sharpton. Right back here tomorrow, same time, same place for another edition of Safe Space. But you already know the deal. Until then, remember to taste your words before you feed them to someone else. And always, always, always empathize, empower, and evolve. Peace.